Hello, happy holidays, and good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's very special episode of Breakfast with Boom. It is the third annual holiday special. It is one that I am proud to be able to do each and every year, and we are going to be giving away over $500 worth of prizes, and we're going to be doing that live on the air. I have put an incredible panel together. We do have breaking news that broke very, very late last night. If you didn't know, and we're going to get into the real nitty gritty of it, PlayStation has pulled Cyberpunk 2077 from their PSN, so you can no longer purchase the game. And in the most unsurprising move, or should I say surprising move, they are offering refunds. Now, if you don't know how the refund progress works for Sony, it is basically trying to get blood from a stone. Joe, you can attest to this. They do not give refunds, and if you try to back end it by going through your credit card company and having them, stop the charge, what winds up happening is they block your PSN account, meaning that you could not go online to buy. They did this to my brother Neo Mental with Destiny 2, and it's basically terror tactics, in my opinion. But
they're bad. Like, real talk, before we even get into it, my buddy Kev, there was fraud on his account. Took him 2 weeks to reactivate his PSN because they suck.
Wow. Yeah. So there you go. They're all about keeping the money. So to say, I'll put it this way: the scope and scale of what happened with CD Projekt Red's potential game of the generation is unprecedented, and we're really going to get into it. We're going to talk about their apology letter that they put out on Tuesday, which is all for naught at this point. We're going to be talking about the emergency board meeting that they did, and we have some quotes from that went public that are very eye-opening, and it just goes to show you that they knew this product was broken. They knew that they could not get a patch out in time for launch, and we might even be talking about how potentially Microsoft and or Sony both knew that this game was broken and still allowed it to come out. And at the end of the day, the main criminal here, besides the publishers and the developers, is money. Nobody wanted to lose those bags of money, like King said, that are left on the table, and now they have to give some of that money back. But we're going to get into that momentarily. Let's start off with the introductions. And we're going to go first with our guest, King David. You, my friend, have been very busy. Not only do you have the King of Statues, not only are you on a statue program that goes live this evening, but you have the Iron Lords podcast each and every Sunday at 11 a.m. during football season and 1 p.m. once football season is over. And last week's show was nothing short of a laugh riot. I mean, like, if you did not shed a tear, you're not a human being, and you don't have a funny bone. Welcome to today's special program, King.
I would not have missed this for the world. It's the give back day, and Mr. Boomstick and Mrs. Boomstick will definitely give back to the community that has been so generous to them. And of course, like me and Boom was talking, Boom hit me up. He was like, "Are you gonna be, part of the show?" I was like, "I thought we already, confirmed that, buddy." he said, "I apologize. I'm getting old." I'm like, "No. I'm definitely gonna be there. I love to, get here with the great panel. Noof, Crispy, Mr. Badbit. Everybody that that does show up. It's going to be a fantastic ride, and just to give back, I needed to be here, so I just couldn't miss today.
Well, I definitely appreciate that, brother, and it's great to have you a part of today's program. Next up, our very good friend from across the border, all the way from Canada. You know him potentially sometimes as the guy that does incredible impersonations. We might even get Arnold to talk about why Jingle All the Way 2 is not in theaters. And more importantly, this is the voice of Gaming After Dark. Noof Nukem, welcome to the program, my brother.
Boom, boom, boom. Noof Nukem is in the room. Thanks for the invite. Thanks for having me here with an all-star cast, Mr. Babbitt, King David, Crispy Bomb, and of course, the best host in the business, Mr. Boomstick XL. I can already see you got a fire chat on the go, including a bunch of super chats. So you're already rocking around the Christmas tree. This is going to be a fun show. Obviously, a heated topic. Some people may totally disagree, but I think we're going to have some very valid points here. So let's get right into it. I'm fired up and ready to go, my brother.
Well, thank you for being here. And yes, I think there's going to be a vast amount of big opinions about what is currently going on. And, you know, we're going to get into stock, how it has hurt CD Projekt Red. We're going to get into the financial aspect of it because, you know, we do have King David who does understand numbers a lot better than most of us. But we're going to get into the trust that has been lost. And the damage may be permanent. You know, when you talk about CD Projekt Red, they are the media darlings of the game industry, but not so much. Again, we're going to get into that momentarily. Let's continue with the introductions. Mr. Badbit, you have been very busy. Your channel has been putting out incredible content. The Trophy Room, my favorite PlayStation show on YouTube and in your RSS feeds where you can get them and find them. Welcome to the program, dude.
I am ecstatic to talk about the things we're about to talk about, my man. Oh my goodness. You know, it's like every week we make a show on a Thursday. And then for some reason,
you always get the short end of the stick.
The gaming gods are like, you know what? Friday, great way to put out news. How about that? But you know what? This is news that I can't wait to talk about because we won't be covering it on the Trophy Room in the next 2 weeks because we'll be doing our Game Awards and our most anticipated 2021. So, yeah, I'm ready to get into the dirt with this. It is truly bad bit here today. That's
well, you know what? Listen, we appreciate the honesty, and I think that when a situation is this big, honesty must come to the forefront of the conversation. And I think that whether you've had problems with the game or not, I think that there is a lot to discuss. It's going to at least take the first half of the show because I have some really big opinions. And again, we will get to that momentarily. Next up, our very good friend who lives closer to me than many, and we're going to be sit down, actually have potentially breakfast with Boom once this pandy gets the hell out of here. Please welcome the chainsawing best voice in the business, Crispy Bomb.
Oh, good morning. What is up, chat? We got the fire. The bomb always has to drop right before breakfast with Boom. And what better than Christmas with Mrs. Boomstick and friends? Here we go. Yes, let's do it.
Well, thanks so much for being here, brother. And you know what? Before we get into the opening topic, let me catch up on some of these outrageous super chats. First of all, the first one of the day comes from A.O. Greggy. He drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "Happy holidays to you and yours and to the entire panel and chat." Well, happy holidays to you, Greggy. Thank you so much for the generosity and always being here. Hank Dank drops a $2 super chat and says, "Wishing the panel and chat a wonderful happy holidays." Well, thank you, Hank. Definitely appreciate that. Sansu, who's always been supporting this channel since its inception, drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Happy holidays at Boom panel and chat." Thank you for that, my brother. We also have Band O Fox, who drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Xbox should try and buy CD Projekt Red right now for if Sony effed up." Yeah, listen, you know what? I don't know how this is going to hurt them financially, and I think it's going to hurt them in the pocket big, but they are the second most richest developer in the EU. I want people to understand that CD Projekt Red is no indie developer. They are the second richest company. So they're going to feel it, and their investors are pissed. And we're going to read some excerpts from that emergency board meeting, folks. Look, I picked the best of the bunch. I'm going to add that where you can read it yourself. It's very, very long. They asked incredible questions, and some of the board members actually asked questions that were gamer questions. Like one guy actually said, "I own a PlayStation 4, regular." can I finish this game? I mean, like, he is a gamer on a board. It's pretty interesting. Pete Sherry, who I didn't call you Shirley, brother. Thank you so much. I made that mistake the last time. Pete, thank you so much for being here. He drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, here is to a safe and happy holidays to the panel and everyone in the chat. Be safe, be kind to one another, and play more games. Indeed, words to live by. Robert Jones, a very generous friend of the show. Robert, thank you for being here, brother. He drops an outstanding $15 super chat and says, have a great show. Cyberpunk, sheesh. It's going to be interesting to see how this all shakes out. Indeed, it will, Robert. Schmuzz 246 drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, happy holidays and thanks, Mr. and Mrs. Boom, for the great year of positive content and all of you give to the community. Happy holidays to the panel also. Well, thank you so much, brother. Super appreciate that. And the last one that we're going to talk about is Kabini Gaming drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, regarding your Halo on previous gen consoles, Flight Simulator is next gen only. Do you have an opinion about that? Well, the reason why it's next gen is because it could only run on next gen. And I just think there's going to come a point where games are going to, if a development team has a certain aspect of design that they want to make for their said game, the limitations of the old consoles are going to come into the question at one point or another. We are eventually going to have to leave this generation behind. It is now 8 years old, and it is time to move on to bigger and better things. And again, I'm not saying it to be bullish and say screw the old. Screw you if you don't have the money to buy a new console. That would be absurd. But there is going to be a point where new games that have ray tracing and they support VRS and they support they work with specifically built to work with an SSD instead of a mechanical hard drive. These are things that you cannot do on old consoles. So eventually, even with the app of xCloud, you're not going to get the bells and whistles and how the developer intended you to play the game. So we're going to have to move on. But let's get into the first topic of the show. And again, the news broke late last night. And when I say that it's unprecedented, listen, folks, I'm the oldest dog here. There's no doubt about it. I've been gaming for over 40 years. I've been privileged to see games go from dots and sticks to what we see now. And in the digital age, which started in the 360 PS3 era, is really when the digital era started. We were privy to pushing a button and buying content. It was something that was foreign to us. It was something that was new to us. It came out like like big man on campus, and the first hiccup was the horse armor for Oblivion. If you remember the big up about that. But in all of my years of gaming, I have never seen what happened last night to a AAA, potentially game of the year, game of the generation, game of games get pulled down from one of the biggest markets on the planet. Now, you can say whatever you want about Sony. You can say that, well, it's just not my company. It's not my bag of tea. I don't like Sony. I would say, you know what? That's good on you. No problem. But we cannot escape the fact that they have 112 plus million consoles worldwide, and they are the lead dog in this country. And to pull Cyberpunk 2077 down from the store is it's unheard of. We've never seen this done before. To make matters even more insane. And we were talking about this privately in the DM about how Sony does not give refunds. They just don't care. They do not give refunds. They will not give you a refund, even if you didn't play the game. If you downloaded that game, guess what, Charlie Brown, you are stuck with it. And if you try if you try to get your credit card company involved, they will ban your IP. I mean your PSN account, and it is. again, good luck on trying to get that done. You again, Terror Tactics, folks. They will make you pay to unlock that account if you have your trophies and everything locked to it, and you're gonna have to pay. It happened to my brother Neo Mental with Destiny 2. He didn't even play the game, and they were like, no dice. So it's just effed up. But let's bring in King to this. King, you heard it last night. It was breaking news. It took the industry by storm. Everyone was talking about it, and we're going to talk about it to open up this show. How big of a deal is this? And for both companies, obviously Sony, who is very set in their ways, had to bend the knee, like you say, give people their refunds. And the question really is how many people were actually calling in for refunds that they had to bend the knee?
Well, with Sony is really funny, right? Because Sony likes to act like they're consumer friendly. They love to have this front, and being with all this stuff that's going on with the PlayStation 5 and people returning them because, you know, all the stuff that's going on, they're bleeding money in one aspect over here. And then they misled their fan base in the beginning with, now listen guys, you're going to hear this word mislead a lot. All right, they misled their fan base in the beginning when telling you that games would be only for the next generation because they believe in generations, and then come to find out that at the last moment, miraculously, these games just pop up and they're going to be available on the PlayStation 4. Like it was a flip of a switch, like it was no development time, and like this stuff wasn't known beforehand. Now, this is a common trend with companies using deception and lying by omission as a tactic. All right. So now we have CD Projekt Red with probably the most anticipated game of the last generation and the beginning of this generation. If you had to poll anybody, this was the game that was the most anticipated game of the year. They did not show any footage of this game running on base consoles. And, you know, Mr. Badbit brought it to my attention. He said, you know, they did show this game. They did not show Tony taking a disc and putting it inside the machine. You know, any footage can be from anywhere, and it can just, you know, tell you what it is and you can believe it. Now, maybe they showed you the Xbox One X, you know, maybe they showed you that console, and that is the best of the older last generation versions that are running out here right now, and the reason why it was the most powerful of the last generation. But we're not talking about that because that sold a fraction. We're talking about the base consoles, the ones who are powering our industry right now. Mm-hmm. This is the engine that could, right? Like Boom said, 8 years going. So they knew exactly what they were doing, and they waited for the last minute for you to find out until you had the product in your hand, because they did not say, even before they gave it to you, it might not run all that good. No, they let you buy it. You got your shiny old little game at home, and you put it in, and you say, good Lord, what's happening? That's not what I saw in September. What's going on? I can't believe this. And then you have the 1% that's saying it's running fine. The 1% is the next generation console owners are saying, this is pretty good over here. So is that, you know, you're not caring about little Tony? You're not caring about, you know, your brother that couldn't get, you know, that system, and it's not available, mind you. It's not because he didn't try. You know, he had a base console, and he jumps in at every beginning of every generation. He rides that console all the way to the end. Well, he couldn't get it this time because these are not available during this period of time, right? And he has to suffer. What point is outrage supposed to reach all?
Great point.
Are you going to say, even though mine runs right, I'm riding with my boy, Little Tony. Little Tony has a problem. We cannot turn a blind eye, because that blind eye will make both of us blind later, because it's going to happen to you. These companies are making money hand over fist. And until we hold their feet to the fire, because this is not something that was done in the dark with no one knowing. They knew The boardroom knew. Everyone knew. We can push it out. We can fix it later because these guys will forget about it. In this generation, what Mr. Boomstick said, the information came out on a Thursday night. That's a Friday news cycle for it to die over the weekend.
Yep.
You know, good news comes out on Monday, bad news comes out on Friday, always. So it can die on the weekend. And Business Hat King now. We have all the pre-orders. The boardroom sees, you don't think the metrics is there?
Mm-hmm.
Who's purchasing what? What is going to be? They can never leave that giant piece of the pie out. If you thought that game was never coming out for the older generation, you're crazy. Because, like you said, one of the boardroom members said, "We'll run on my base PlayStation 4." First of all, you're on the board. Why the hell you got a base PlayStation 4? Brother,
TCL, sir.
Yeah, right.
he's capping.
TCLs.
All right, he's capping. He's not a TCL dude. He's making money hand over fist. So I'm just saying, these companies know that there's a large slice of the pie, and they want to be in on that pie. Next generation is, yeah, we'll get there. We'll fix it. It'll be fixed. By February, March, the game is going to run stable and correct on base consoles because they're going to work like hell. I mean, the resolution might be 720, but they're going to get that game to run right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Next generation pass. See, this was my stance, and I voted with my wallet. My stance was, if it's not a Game Pass, I don't care about it. That's one. Two, I'm not going to buy this game until the next generation patch comes out because I want to play it on the next generation platform with all the bells and whistles. And I voted with my dollar. And I'm also raging for little Tony, who voted with his dollar. He wanted the game. Just because I don't have the game and I support it myself, I have to support my brother as well, because my brother or sister, because my fellow gamer, because they need a voice as well. You know, and if we don't stand up for something, we're going to fall for everything. And these companies know it. If they patch it and they fix it, it'll go away in our head. And we can't allow that to happen. We must hold their feet to the fire.
Yeah. I mean, that's a strong point, and I think you're 100% right. We need to, I've heard many big podcasters talk about this, how we have to hold these developers and these publishers and put them to task. When they make a mistake, we have to not make excuses for them. We have to say, listen, this isn't right. You have to fix it. And if not, I'm going to return the game. But Joe, I want to go to you next because you have a lot to say on this. But I want to bring up the letter. I'm going to bring it up on the screen and show everyone. I'm going to read verbatim. This was from 2 days ago, and it makes you wonder whether this was just a PR stunt. And Joe, you know that more than anything. Here's the letter, everyone.
Going in.
Okay, this is what they said. First of all, we would like to start by apologizing to you for not showing the game on base last-gen consoles before the premiere. In consequence, not allowing you to make a more informed decision about your purchase, we should have paid more attention to making it play better on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Second, we will fix the bugs and crashes and improve the overall experience. First round of updates has just been released, and the next one is coming within the next 7 days. Expect more, as we will update frequently whenever new improvements are ready. After the holidays, we'll continue working. We'll release 2 large patches, starting with patch number 1 in January. This will be followed by patch number 2 in February. Together, these should fix most of the prominent problems gamers are facing on last-gen consoles. We will be informing you about the contents of each patch ahead of their release. They won't make the game on last-gen look like it's running on high-end PCs or next-gen consoles, but it will be closer to the experience than it is now. Finally, we would always like everyone who buys our games to be satisfied with their purchases. We'd appreciate if you would give us a chance, but if you are not pleased with the game on your console and don't want to wait for the updates, you can go refund your copy. For copies purchased digitally, please use the refund system on both PSN and Xbox, respectively. For boxed versions, please first try to get a refund at the store where you bought the game. Should this not be possible, please contact us at help me refund project at cdprojectred.com. And we will do our best to help you. Starting from today, you can contact us. You can contact us for up to a week before December 21st, 2020. Humbly, and it gives all the names of the team that worked on the game. PS Gamers, PC Gamers will also be getting regular updates and fixes to improve the game's quality. Joe, this letter. Okay.
Leave it up. I'm just gonna go in. Leave this up for a second because I want to read the first. We want to apologize for not showing you the base game on last generation consoles before it premiered. You did, and like King was saying, it was fraudulent. You didn't show us the actual that could have been really on anything, but you said it was PS4 to PS5, Xbox One to Series. So you did technically. Also, apologize for not showing you. You literally went out of your way to hide it. You only gave reviewers a PC code, and you only gave reviewers a day before the launch of this console to actually give them the PS4 and Xbox version of the game. So that's just right now a flat out fucking lie. Also, how am I going to take your word for the second paragraph that you already have a patch ready in January and a patch in February? So what you're telling me is you're either A, knew how garbage this game was going to run at launch, and you're selling us an alpha of a game that's very much incomplete, or B, you're lying to us, because how many times have you actually delayed this game in this year alone, right? So this game was supposed to somehow come out in April, got delayed to September, got delayed to November, now we're here in December. So how the fuck am I going to take your word for patch 1 and 2? Not me. Not me, not one bit. And then anybody who bullshit, refund system, PSN, Xbox, respectively. Now you can take that down. Back to our beautiful faces. Yeah. Why do I have to go through customer service for your mess up? This is on you. Why am I being inconvenienced as a customer because you messed up? Now, a lot of people are pointing this out. In a QA investor call with CD Projekt Red, they said, how come this game went through Sony and Microsoft certification to get on the console? CD Projekt Red said, this is on our side. Sony and Microsoft was hoping we would fix the game on release. It's entirely on us. Here's the thing. They absolutely knew, both Sony and Microsoft, they knew. Usually how certification works is there is a trust with certain developers, especially ones that have over 8 million pre-orders on your consoles, especially ones that you have special marketing deals with, where you'll let them slide on certain things. Absolutely you will. There's usually, from what I'm aware of, from what I've learned over the past few hours, there's usually a process of like, okay, so here's what our day one patch is supposed to fix or will fix by the time this game comes out. But this is what it looks like right now. Day one patch will solve it. And they sign a little form promising that this game will be functional. That's what certification really does. It's not saying that this is going to be an immaculate game. It's saying that this game will not brick your PS4 or your Xbox.
Right.
Rant done. Whose fault is this? It's obviously CD Projekt Red's. Yep. Obviously. It's all their fault. Or a lot of their fault. Right? They sold us on a lie. They marketed this game. And as gamers, dear gamers, we bought that shit up.
Yeah,
we bought it up. We were like, oh, this game's amazing. And now you're either white knighting it, going, oh, these people are whiners, or you got some people that want to burn the studio down, right? Like that's, but like the anger is somewhat justified when you make a game that, again, is for King's right. There's only a few million people with a Series X and a PS5. And there is no next gen version of this game. They're not making it right now. They don't have it in their hands. So this game was supposed to be run on 160 plus million units. Mm-hmm. And that's the broad consumer base is going to work with. You got to be kidding yourself here. You got to be. Now, the second thing here, when it comes to Sony, their return policy is absolute garbage. It's an embarrassment.
Yeah.
And it's something that I think with this event happening is going to absolutely change some things. Conversations are definitely going to start happening there because Microsoft, a lot of people are like Microsoft should do the same thing. They should pull this game because it's not good. They don't have to. They don't have to because they already have a functioning return policy. So if someone
and
plays
it's
it, and
quite good, actually, Joe.
it's quite good. 2
Yeah.
hours or 14 days. That's what you got. And it's good. You should know by the first hour that this game barely works if you're on a base Xbox. So they don't necessarily have to pull it down, maybe for act of good faith, but Sony absolutely has to. Because yes, they don't have a functioning return policy because they're really bad at returns. So like, yeah, they absolutely needed to take this game down. They absolutely needed to offer refunds because CD Projekt Red put them on the spot twice. They said, go through PlayStation to get a return. So you've got thousands of people flooding that, and probably hundreds of thousands of people sending multiples, right? You got them saying this game technically didn't pass cert, so you are putting Xbox and PlayStation, your hardware partners, on the spot saying, hey, there's something shady that Microsoft's doing in PlayStation, so the blame should be somewhat shifted somewhat. This is what happens. There's repercussions to what you've said. So now PlayStation's like, no, we're just taking it down. We don't want anything to do with this. We want to make the consumers happy at this point. Yep. And yeah, there's definitely conversations happening at Sony going, okay, so maybe we should take a look at how we return games. And honestly, I understand when it comes to returning digital products, it's nebulous, and indies don't want it, especially because their games are shorter experiences, but they have to find a policy that works for the consumers. Yes. And if I'm Microsoft right now, I would not be surprised if last night there was a conversation between some higher ups of what to do and how we handle our marketing of this game and how CD Projekt Red starts paying us back for it. Because honestly, if I'm Microsoft, I'm fucking furious right now.
Yes.
How many times are we putting our money on a horse that makes last freaking place?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm mad because I'm like King. Listen, I got my return. I'll wait till the next gen patch. Maybe even not. This game's burned me that bad. Yeah. But for the people who have gotten burned, that trusted this company, that literally this company had so much goodwill, showed how games should handle things like DLC and expansion packs, and in a time where DLC, microtransactions were rampant and just awful. This company had so much goodwill, and they were supposed to be the company, the anti corporate company, right? We're going to be transparent. We're going to be one with our consumers and whatnot. And now you got just a whole bunch of corporate bullshit.
Yeah,
that. Look, they got 8 million pre-orders. They are fine. 43% of those were on PC. So they're definitely okay. But the stain and the scarlet, what is it? The scarlet cross that's going to be forever on them because of this.
Oh yeah, it's damaged beyond belief. But you know what?
I'm sorry, I blacked out there.
No. That's quite all right. We love this. Is again, it's a conversational podcast. This is what we want to do. Noof Nukem, I want to go to you, Noof, but I want to bring up the letter, and then after I'm done, after we give your point, I'm going to catch up on the super chats because it's been wow. I mean, like the generosity is just crazy. This was the letter. This is the official SIE letter. And here it is, folks. This was posted on Twitter. This was posted on all forms of social media. You can find it pretty much anywhere. And this is what it says. Cyberpunk 2077 refunds. SIE strives to ensure a high level of customer satisfaction. Therefore, we will begin to offer full refunds for all gamers who purchase Cyberpunk 2077 via the PlayStation Store. SIE will also be removing Cyberpunk 2077 from the PlayStation Store until further notice. Once we have confirmed you have purchased Cyberpunk 2077 via the PlayStation Store, we will begin processing your refund. Please note that the completion of the refund may vary based on your payment method and financial institution. Listen, look, when a lot of people are saying, Noof, Fallout 76, as bad as that game was not pulled. And I know people did ask for refunds, but I think that the overabundance of people, especially on the PlayStation side of things, that reached out and were screaming to the high heavens about a refund, caused this. And I want that to be known. I think people have to understand that this was an overnight revolution. The people made this happen because enough people cried out that this was wrong and that the game was broken, and like anything else that you buy, if you're not happy with it, you can return it. And like Joe just said, I think that this movement, if you will, is going to change things across the industry, but more importantly with PlayStation. Their return policy excuse me, has been poor. There's no doubt about it. But what are your thoughts on? I mean, there's a lot to digest here, so please take all the time you want.
Sure.
But I want you to talk about, one, how does CD Projekt Red recover from this, and more importantly, what are your thoughts of Sony pulling this game off, and is Microsoft next?
Well, I think pulling the game off of the stores, period, I don't know if that's a great idea. Like, I personally think that's a little bit overkill, because people at this point, they have an educated decision to either go ahead and buy the game fully knowing that this game is not up to snuff or not, but it's their choice. Like, who are you to pull a product off, period? I mean, obviously the outcry must be pretty large for them to go this deep and to do something like this. And no, I do applaud them for it in certain ways, certainly given the refunds back. Obviously, there's going to have to be a major discussion moving forward between their partners, the Sony and Microsoft, because again, this is not just like your little chump cookie cutter game. This is one of the most anticipated games over the last 5 or 6 years. It was supposed to be a swan song and a great send off to the old gen, and sort of a break into the, well, you know, even take the new gen out of the question, because honestly, when this game first launched, this wasn't launched as a next gen title. This wasn't a Series X and a PS5 premiere title. This was supposed to be full-heartedly a current gen title made to run on Xbox One and PS4, and that in lies the biggest problem. Sure, if you're lucky enough to have a PS5 and a Series X, and definitely if you got a PC, you're getting you're definitely getting the best version. PS5 and Xbox Series X seem to be at least adequate and competent versions to this point, and the other versions, as we've seen by many videos, it's almost inexcusably bad. I mean, we're not talking about the odd glitch. We're talking about a game that is almost borderline frustrating to play, and that's not a good thing for gamers. When you hear people, I waited this long to play a game, and you hear them say to me, you know what, I'm going to put it down until a patch comes out in February or March because I don't want to play it. That's a major, major problem. That should never happen with any game from any studio. Like, and I don't necessarily blame CD Projekt Red here, okay? Because they are the developer. They're not the publisher. And this has been a very difficult time. We know that. To work from home, to have to put all the pieces to the puzzle. But like I said pre-show, man, if you put too much crap in the toilet, it's going to clog. Well, that's what's happening right here, is they've had a lot of crap to deal with. It's almost impossible for a dev to put together an Xbox One, a PS4, PS4 Pro, Xbox One X, Series X, PS5, PC, Stadia. How many versions is that? And they got to get it out in one swift window. That's a lot of different coding going on right there. Maybe the average person doesn't realize. And let's get rid of that scalability crap, because honestly, a lot of these games now, they're just too ambitious to run on the older hardware. We've seen this for time and time again, that outside of really good optimized games, like say at a Sony's first party that somehow miraculously still seem to push the PS4, a lot of other third parties are struggling, because obviously third parties are also building for more than one platform. Is there no coincidence that third-party software is running into more bugs than the first-party? And that's not to say the first-party stuff is flawless, but my God, look at that Gears of War Highbusters thing right now. Holy Toledo.
Really good looking, dude.
Story for another day, right? Story for another day. But I'm just making a point here. That stuff looks fantastic and it runs amazing, but they're not developing it for, 40 different pieces of hardware with different spec on here. Now, and the thing is, too, part of this is on us as gamers as the blame. We blow this stuff out of proportion, for one. And two, honestly, I got to ask you guys, where does CD Projekt Red anyway? How did these guys end up on a pedestal that is so high? I really want to know that, because to me, in my personal opinion, they haven't made shit compared to Nintendo, or haven't made shit compared to Sony Santa Monica or Naughty Dog, because they made one game that basically broke the mold, which was The Witcher 3, and it's still, in my opinion, a great game, but one of the most overrated titles this gen. And they make one game, and all of a sudden, they're the best developer in the world. How many great games did BioWare make before they screwed up with Mass Effect? And then and now BioWare apparently is one of the worst guys. We can't stand them. They can't make a good game. Like, this is what I'm talking about. The gamer society itself is hypocritical. Has your favorite rock band or your favorite rapper made every successive album perfect? No, they have not, have they? You probably went, man, that was a garbage album. That was a great album. No different with your favorite movie studio, your favorite direct. We have got to get away from that. Every game that comes out is going to be just amazing. And look, I'm going to take a lot of heat here for this, but I'm just saying, like CD Projekt Red has had a lot more pressure on them than other studios. And for what? They made The Witcher 3 a great game. Indeed, I get it. But that doesn't make them Rockstar. It doesn't make them an overnight. This studio is just unbelievable. They're gods like that. No, they're not. You got to prove yourself. You got to prove yourself time and time again. You know what I mean? Like you can't just one bad game does not make you a terrible developer. No more than making one great game makes you amazing at it. That's the thing. There's a give and take. And again, with COVID right now, everybody's struggling, and that played a large part in this game as well. But no, the fact is they didn't show this game off on the base models, and that was a big mistake. And of course, and I think the large part of the blame here is on the boardroom. Like King said, they saw the pre-order numbers. They just couldn't wait any longer. They wanted to have a strong fourth quarter because stocks are starting to go down. They wanted to keep this game on a peace of mind, and and they knew they had a great window because they had so many pieces of hardware coming out. So they wanted to sell this game in as many places to as many people, and the gamers really got sort of taken by surprise because somebody in the chat said, we knew it was going to be. No, nobody knew this game was going to run this bad on current gen. I mean, I think we all knew it was going to push the current gen to new limits perhaps never seen, and perhaps the frames might dip a little here and there. We're kind of used to that at this point, but there's no excuse for a game almost running to a dead standstill, games that are crashing your console, games where textures take 30 seconds to load in, otherwise you look like you're staring at an old N64 game. Like, come on, man. I don't know. There's so many places you can place blame here, but I think the large part falls on these publishers. And again, they have to take. This should be a wake up call to the entire industry. Okay. And this was a year where we've seen massively buggy games all across the board. It wasn't just the odd exception to the rule. It's starting to become the norm now, and it's getting disturbing because it feels like you get a game. Why are games that obviously get pushed back 3 or 4 times or that run open betas and you still get them on day one and you're having to download 30, 40 gigabyte patches right from the start? You're like, what is going on? Do you guys have no quality control, or are your games just too big that your small studios cannot handle? I don't know what it is, but I mean, I'm enjoying the game. But like King said, you got to speak for everyone. I'm enjoying it because I was fortunate enough to get a Series X and it actually runs. But guess what? I tried installing it on my 1X because I wanted to see how it would run on the console it was actually meant for, and it crashes on me every 2 minutes. I can't even play the game. So if I can't play it, that's a huge problem. That's even worse than a glitch. That I can't play the game. It crashes.
Yeah.
So, and I would imagine I'm not the only one having that situation. By the way, for those who don't know, if you look on the case, it says basically this is the HDR, the 4K. It's meant for the Xbox One X. So we do not have a Series X version. This is not a PS5 version we're actually running. It's actually the older version. It just runs better because the hardware is more competent and doesn't have to run into the bottleneck and computing issues that the old consoles have. So I don't have to beat this to death. I think I made my point whether you agree with it or not. But I do want to, like I said, we got to start taking these guys down off of the pedestals here because, like I said, until you've made a successive amount of great games, you shouldn't be, like I said, one game doesn't make you all of a sudden the best company in the industry. And making one bad game should not also be like, oh my God, these guys are terrible. Like CD Projekt Red, they're talented enough. They will come back strong. They're going to patch this game and make it run amazing eventually. And their next game will probably, hopefully, learn a big lesson from this one and be a lot better for it. And the same thing with BioWare. They got different people in and out of there, but you know what? I have full confidence that the next Mass Effect will definitely be much better than the previous one, and we hope so. But I hope they're all learning a lesson, and we hope that Microsoft and Sony get more stringent on quality control. They need to come forward with a statement for these teams to say, what is your target for this game? What is your target for the console we're putting it out on? Is it going to meet that target? Because if it's not going to meet these targets, we want to let you know that we're going to have open refunds on our sites, and you guys are going to lose a ton of money here, and your reputation's at stake. So simple as that.
I mean, I think you nailed it on the head. Where we see a studio, we hype it up to no end. Like, look, I love The Witcher 3. I think it is one of the best games this generation. personally, and that's like as a person who's like, I'm not a fan of the combat here or there. As a person who is, Bloodborne's my game of the year that year. There's no denying they made one of the best open world games, just bar none. But just because you made a really, really, really good game doesn't mean that you are, the next big thing. Like you have promise. And I think what we do so badly here as gamers is we stand for fucking companies too much. And this is coming from a guy that runs a PlayStation show. And this is also a guy that had a 10-minute rant on said PlayStation show that PlayStation needs a better refund policy.
Yep.
Like we can cover things and be objective about those things at the same time. I think we need to get off this, putting these studios on pedestals. Guess what? I think you nailed it right. Like BioWare, is it in trouble? Yes. But is it in imminent danger? No. They have an IP that will keep them alive for a very long time. Same with CD. Like they're definitely taking this as a learning experience for sure. And like heads will roll. But we have to stop nighting for these kids.
They're not learning. Everybody's forgetting that The Witcher 3 ship broken as well. Not to this extent. Their DLC, the free DLC, was a mea culpa. It was our love letter to you for giving you what we gave you in the beginning. And now it runs after all the patches and all the updates, and they stuck with it, and they saw it through to the end. But they're doing the same exact thing they did before because you guys purchased it and you praise them all the way through. So of course they're going to do the same exact thing, because why? They smacked you in the face the first time. You said, okay, you're going to give me all the tourniquets and stuff because it's kind of swollen. Here's some Bengay. Put that on it. Don't worry. We're going to do stuff. Don't worry. Don't complain. Hey, don't tell the police. Don't turn us in. And you did it. And they did the same exact thing this time. They did it harder and they did it worse. And what? Now Sony has to pull it out of the store. The only reason why Sony pulled it out of their store is because Sony hates giving you back bucks.
Yes.
You know what Sony said? You know how not to give you back bucks? It ain't here.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, you know what? Sony is probably hoping that you'll buy something from them now instead of CD Projekt Red's
your wallet on PSN.
Yeah. Absolutely, dude. You know what? Let's get Crispy Bomb. Crispy, before I get to you, brother, I want to read on some of these super chats because again, there's been quite a few of them, and I of course want to be give everyone the credit that they deserve. First of all, JD Gamer, a very generous friend of the show, he drops an outstanding $20 super chat. Here's a little bit of support for one of my favorites. I secured my Series X now, and I'm looking for a PS5. Congratulations, dude. He says, still gotta make that monster PC for reasons just like with Cyberpunk, but it's usually the PC getting bad ports. Yeah, that's very true. Spider-Man drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, if you get a chance, read the interview with Jeff Keighley from Game Informer. Great insight on the Game Awards and criticism. Oh, dude, I'm going to definitely check that out.
Shout out to my friend Alex that did that review. He's a good man.
Good for you, dude. Nice, dude. Eagles fan 76 drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, could this lead to CD Projekt for Cyberpunk 27 going into Game Pass sooner? That's a very interesting theory. I don't know. And Sweeney drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, this was a perfect storm of public demanding a game to be released right now and a boardroom not strong enough to say no. I feel for the dev team. Oh, that's a strong point there, dude.
Not strong enough to say no to what? What are you crazy? Their job is to make money.
They want to make money, yeah. They honestly don't care usually. Bando Fox drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, Cyberpunk is an amazing game, a game changer on OG Xbox. See, like you're one of the people that are not having an issue with it, which is pretty crazy how across the board it's so wacky. Casket Repair drops a very generous $5 super chat, says, happy holidays and much love. Casket Repair was one of the big winners. He won a PlayStation 5 digital edition with Miles Morales. And thanks so much for the generosity, brother. Hopefully you are enjoying your console. Dan, the man Cunningham. Hey, Dan, welcome to the program, brother. He drops a $5 super chat and says, we see your lights, Boom. Mrs. Boomstick got you on the Christmas leash. Nah, no leash here, brother, but I will say that I am wearing my lights for the festive day that we're going to have. Bando Fox drops another pair of $2 super chats. The first one, he says, we knew this game was going to be garbage on old consoles. Yeah, but not really, though, because they said it was going to run fine. It was going to run like the new consoles as good, but they promised a lot of things. The second one, he says, it's not the developer's fault, LOL. Well, I mean, the pushing out the game, no, that is the company, the leadership at CD Projekt Red. Victor Alistine drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, I think Xbox should put this game in game preview just like PUBG and Ark until it's fixed. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna do that, dude. Excuse me, but Crispy Bomb, which I was just sounding like until I get a drink of water. Why don't you give us your opinion on it? Because you have an interesting 6-hour story with this game.
Yeah, so very strangely, and this is where you go and say, like, somebody on the OG one is having no problems, even though I'm seeing most people saying that the game is basically unplayable and reminds them of playing Vice City on the PlayStation 1. So I don't understand what's going on as far as the ups and downs of me being on my 1X and not having a single crash or a single glitch, while Noof can't even download the damn thing or even play it at all half the time. So and we're hearing people, the downloads are freezing. The game is so glitchy that you can't even understand what's going on sometimes. It reminds me of when The Division came out. Everybody remember The Division? Yep. And how it came out so broken that it still was the highest selling game of that year, by the way. So think about that. That's what we're in for. Cyberpunk sold a ton, okay? And it's probably still selling, at least on the Xbox side. And that's the strange thing. Now they're going to go and sit there and be like, okay, we're going to refund, but we didn't talk to anybody about refunding. So wait, who's doing the refunding? It makes no sense to me how they've approached this at all. You have just alienated all the good faith you've had. And you go back to even what King brought up, Witcher 3. I never played the game, but all I heard is at the beginning of that game, you might as well put it in the same light as this game right now. And I don't understand why they did it. Me personally, I now really commend Phil for delaying Halo Infinite as he did. Instead of coming out there, of coming out there and continually letting people down by saying we're delaying it again, he said, you know what? This game is not going to be ready till next year, and we're not even going to give you a date. And you know what? At this point, everybody was disappointed, but now you look at it and you say, well, maybe this game will come out and not be a broken mess. And that's one thing I will say that comes out of this is if they don't learn from this game, they do not deserve to sell any new IP from here on out. And that's their problem. I think Ubisoft at least has learned from their mistakes. You know what I'm saying? It's not perfect, but from what I saw in The Division, a very highly anticipated game back a few years ago, and what I see now, I mean, The Division 2, when I got that game, I didn't have any flaws, and I didn't see a lot of people having any problems with it at all. That means you learn from your mistakes. So the problem is Witcher 3 came out the same kind of way that this one has, and you haven't learned from your mistakes, and you've been developing it for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing here? So maybe they should have just waited and waited it the whole 10 years and just released it on only next gen, because that's the way it seems at this point.
You know, I gotta all those games that were afraid of this big bad wolf that was moving their dates. Look how foolish you look now. You came out with a complete game, and you could have went head to head with the big Titan, and you could also ran an ad after that and said, our game don't run like that. Our game is complete.
You can have those comparisons of like, hey, this game's broken. This game runs pretty damn well.
The medium. I was mad as hell. Like, don't move your date. You hold your date.
Yeah, you were mad about that.
Now you're welcome.
You stand firm in your conviction. You bring the fight. If you got a damn good product, you stand behind your product. You don't move your date for anyone. You keep your date and you put your product head to head. If you believe in your product, then you believe in it. Because I'm like, why is anybody moving? This game is an RPG made in this world, and this game is a horror game made in this world. Let them choose.
Really makes you wonder if this game had to come out in April, what kind of version would we have gotten then?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Stick figures.
Yeah.
We would have got stick figures on the screen.
What you said?
We would have skills.
Stick figures Pong. We would have got
I'm having
Pong.
fun with that,
We would
bro.
have thought we were playing it on the Nintendo Switch at that point.
Let's bring Big Cloud into the conversation. But Big Cloud, before I get to you, brother, I want to thank Infinite Double A for the outstanding, very generous $5 Super Chat. Says people love The Last of Us and lots hate Part 2. Let's stop putting these development studios on a pedestal. Personally, I love The Last of Us 2, but many don't. King loves that game. That's why he had a bag of knees behind him.
We will not take any slander when it comes to Last of Us 2. Last of Us 2 is the game of our generation and the game of the year. So let's just move on.
You know what's funny about it? Like, yeah, you might not like the story of Last of Us 2, but let's keep it real. Last of Us 2 is a generation ahead completely from the first one. In every single capacity from the dialogue, all that stuff, like player animations, the gameplay, all that stuff. It's on another level. And on top of all that, it actually ran as advertised.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point. But listen, Big Cloud, before I get to you, I want to read one of the most vocal from the board, from this emergency board meeting, was someone, and they didn't give the name, but he was from the Jeffries Investor Group. And he pressed all of the developers there at CD Projekt Red, including top brass, about last gen performance. And this is what Michael Norworski had to say. He said the fault lay completely on CD Projekt Red for not us looking at the PC and next gen performance rather than current gen. We definitely did not spend enough time looking into that. And this is what he continues. We have also stated that if your expectation is that the game is going to be equal to, say, next gen consoles or PC in terms of performance, that definitely isn't going to happen. Having said that, I'm not saying it's going to be a bad game, but if your expectations regarding, say, visuals or other performance angles are like this, then we are openly stating that it's not going to be the case. It will be a good, playable, stable game without glitches and crashes, and that's where it stops. But then, of course, they say this, the Jeffries investor was, not completely convinced. The board also made an interesting remark about how the console version of CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077 was being referenced in reviews of the PC version. And this is what it continues. The article says this. As far as players' feedback is concerned, the feedback for PC, the PC edition, is by far better than we're getting on console. But we need to read reviews on the PC version. We see many comments referring to the consoles version, so there's a bit of a mix among platforms, and that's not easy to distinguish. For the second question of this, it says this. With regard to not showing the console version, we've actually shown the console version footage, but never on the last gen consoles. The reason is that we were updating the game on last gen consoles until the very last minute, and we thought we'd make it in time. Unfortunately, this resulted in giving it to reviewers just one day before its release, which was definitely too late, and the media didn't get a chance to review it properly. That was not intended. We were just fixing the game to the very last minute or the 12th hour. Listen, BitCloud, this is
I want to say impressive on that guy, Mark, because everybody heard him with such clarity, though his head was so far up his own ass. So
yeah.
Well, that's a good point. Okay, now so BitCloud, you've heard everyone's opinions on this.
Mm-hmm.
The show is already an hour through, and we're still talking about this because this is a big conversation.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on two things? One, Sony giving back refunds, and how is this situation potentially going to hurt both financially and trust with the community for CD Projekt Red moving forward?
All right, because you like the apology letter that they put out there on Twitter, because you put
yes,
that.
I brought it up. I'll bring it up again. Let me get into my brand here. Here it is, right here. Here we go.
This is where it gets. So right there in the first paragraph, what does it say? We should have paid more attention to making it play better on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. First of all, this is only on PS4 and Xbox One. PlayStation 5 and Series X do not have a version yet. They have not even.
That's a great point, dude. Wow, that's a great point.
We should have paid more attention to this. So that kind of makes you question how worse this game was going to run going back to their previous launch date. Remember, they delayed this game a week before launch originally. So what were you doing in the process? Now, to the people who, the stands, like you might as well call them the stands out here, saying like, oh, well, my game's running good. It's not my problem that yours running. Actually, it's everybody's problem that person's not running well versus yours. Let me tell you why. Because at the end of the day, we all pay for the same damn product at the end of the day. We should have the exact same expectations for one, especially when they said, right? They hyped this game up from XYZ. They said they're not going to have crunch, not going to have X amount of problems. And then as the months and years progressed, they started removing XYZ from this. Remember, they put a big emphasis on customization in this game. Where's the third person mode?
Yeah.
where's the customization that you were talking about? Oh, the game still looks good. To who? We never saw nothing else since then. And then they said, oh, we showed you the console version in that bullshit interview he just said. We showed you the console version, but it wasn't the current gen. Huh? That doesn't make any goddamn sense. So you pretty much launched this game knowing damn well it was in pre-alpha, or I guess you can call it pre-alpha. I'll call it beta at this damn point. You released this game at full price to everybody. You know damn well it was full of glitches. This letter right here just pretty much told you that they were aware of every single issue that they were going to run into. Come on, they're saying we're going to have bug fixes for the crashes and everything. How the hell can they guarantee they're going to be able to fix anything if the game is running worse than we expected? I've seen a lot of videos where cars were flying, like literally hitting people out of left field, like somebody threw a car. Cutscenes where people were walking through metal detectors and the cars were legit driving through the buildings. One patch is not going to fix this. You need several patches to fix this. Several. And to the people who put this game on a pedestal, I remember when I said it before too, because everybody gets offensive when you talk about this particular studio. They're like, well, they made the Witcher 3, so it's going to be good. I'm like, listen, that's one game. That's a different style of game. It's not this. You can't guarantee another game, especially a new IP, is going to be XYZ based off of something that happened in the past. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't. It never will work like that. It's about keeping that same energy and holding them accountable. But the thing is, people in this community and a lot of people in general, they don't want to do that. Shout out to Broken Games HD. I remember he did like 4 videos on this. And Kingdom I'm talking about. He did like 4 videos on this. He got slandered by some of the most ridiculous comments like I've ever seen over this game. Now look at them. They can't even damage control the state of this game. And then it goes back to what I was talking with King and Cog and them when the Iron Lords, when it came out to Halo Infinite. Like, again, I would rather have Halo Infinite be delayed strictly to next gen to avoid a tragedy like this. I'd rather the game run at its optimal efficiency, I'd rather have a product that runs as advertised and gives me all the bells and whistles that I promised versus something that is strictly being, stripped every single month, it feels like, right? Oh, this feature's not in here. Oh, well, what we said back in January, yeah, we meant the opposite. It's going to do this. No. I want the full vision.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't give me the full vision, do me a huge favor. Stop hyping it up. Stop acting like you're doing something that's, game changing. That's going to blow us away. You're not. You're not doing anything like that. But that's what I'm at right there. It's disgusting. Like the board meeting, what he just said, the damage control, we showed you the console version, but it happened to not be the one that you're playing. Okay. Yeah. As far as the community and how they are affecting the community, yeah, they have a long way to go at this point. I'm not saying this is going to kill them, Boom. It's not going to kill them at all, but they have to, there's something that's going to be a scar that they have to work off. It's kind of like Capcom. Remember how Capcom kind of destroyed trust for a little bit and they had to come out with some gems to fix that? It's the same thing all over again. Once you get that quality control under control and you legit, show your consumers that you care, that's when stuff will get better for you in the long run. But right now, yeah, you're at the bottom of the list for a lot of people. And you fell from that top 3 developers for a lot of people. So that's where I'm at there. As far as Sony and the refunds, it's smart to remove it from the store, but at the same time, that return policy needs to be fixed. It makes no sense that Steam still has the top end return policy when it comes to these games digitally. They look at the playtime and they look at, they give you a time limit for how long you can, get your money back. It should be like that for all companies. But
I think Steam worked in the avenue of return first. They looked at the structure on returns first when they were building their
infrastructure.
And that's the optimum way to work, because you look at the worst case scenario and not the best case scenario. Best case scenario, anybody that looks at 100% sell through, you're looking at it through a skewed vision that you want to happen. You have to look at it as loss. You have to look at it as damage. You have to look at, your parameters on what you can sustain and what you are looking to obtain. So when I see a company that is very rigid on returns, that means that their policy, when they went into forming the company, they didn't look at loss at all, because they felt that they couldn't have a margin of loss greater than 9%. So when you can't have a loss greater than 9%, you're doomed to have a failed system as far as returns go.
Yeah. And on top of this, the refunds for PlayStation, the money, if I remember correctly, because I had a few returns, it goes straight to your wallet on PSN. It doesn't go back to your card.
Wow.
Yeah. I want you to understand that. I don't know if you didn't know that.
It depends on. It's a shitty return policy. It depends on like the card.
Because me personally, all my stuff went directly into the wallet of, like the PSN. It didn't go directly back to my account. So that right there is just throwing that out there for you guys.
Your money's gonna
damn well that money ain't going no goddamn where. It's going right back on that store. It's already stored. You might as well call them Xbox. What they Xbox points, live points, whatever everything was called. You might as well call them that. They're still converted into Xbox live points, quote unquote, and they're on the store.
Wow.
Hey, Boom, you're muted.
I mean, I have like $300 worth of PSN currency in my wallet, so like I'm very happy that I'm just gonna get my my PSN.
Did they remove PayPal? I'm not even sure. Is PayPal even allowed on PSN now? I think they removed that, right?
No, it was one of the. It was like, so like if you pay by like a Visa card or something like that, you'll get your money back. But if it's like by like a MasterCard or something like weird like that, or not weird, but whatever, you're probably gonna get just store credit. But
a shame.
Yeah.
Oh God, yes.
I learned something every day.
A shame.
Yeah,
it's a shame.
That's you know what I want to do is, obviously we've been on this, and with these kinds of episodes, one of the things you see us on camera, sometimes you don't see us on camera, you don't really know, you know us, but you don't really know us. And I would like to talk, just about some, we open up the show with the hotness, of course, with the CD Projekt Red thing. I kind of want to just slow it down for a bit, because I do want to talk about some of our best Christmas memories. It's something important to me because it humanizes us with you folks out there. We have over 400 people watching, and you might be new to the channel. If you are, of course, I say welcome with open arms. We're going to kind of get a little personal now, and I think it does bring us back. It grounds us to that we're just people like you. And I wanted to, everyone to kind of give us their best Christmas stories. But before I do that, there are two things I have to do. One, I have to catch up on super chats, and two, I have to announce all the winners. And there's quite a few of them. We're going to start with Kay Asante, who drops an outstanding and very generous $10 super chat. Kay Asante, it's great to see you here, brother. Welcome back. He says, greeting all. Thank you, Mr. Bedbit. You are the first PlayStation gamer that I've heard speak on the return policy. I've been saying that, and PSN Warriors keep standing with Sony. I mean, that's Mr. Badbit keeps it real, 100%.
Yeah.
Smitty Smith, our very good friend, he drops an outstanding $20 super chat and says, I don't care about your letter, CD Projekt Red. You cannot release your game in this sort of condition. This is absolutely and unequivocally wrong on so many levels. I don't care about your patches. Fix it, in all caps, the Book of X. Indeed, they have to fix it. Yeah. Midway Monster drops a very generous $5 super chat and says they should have optimized the previous gen console and have the next gen consoles brute force the game until the next gen patch. That's interesting. I mean, listen, I don't know what they're going to do, but they need to do something quick. Spider-Man drops another outstanding $5 super chat and says, my dad surprised me and my brother as kids for a Christmas with Super NES. He would make us go to sleep early so he could play without us, knowing while we slept. Dude, that's cool. That you have a cool pops there, no doubt about that. Infinite Double A drops a very generous additional $5 super chat and says people loved The Last of Us. Oh no, I read that already. Wow. Okay, so I must have missed the other ones. And let's see, I did get let's see. Okay, so now we're up to date. We have Bando Fox drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, I miss the old N64 days. No bug or no imperfections. Yeah, listen, that Nintendo seal of quality was legit. There's no doubt about that. Midway Monster drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, they know King is on the show. I'm getting ads for TCL. That's hilarious. Dan the Man Cunningham drops an additional $5 super chat. Thank you, Dan, for that. He says, no excusing CD Projekt Red's part, but people have to remember COVID has eaten roughly 6 to 9 months of development time for everyone. This wouldn't be a topic. Yeah, I mean,
I would say delay it did if that was the case.
If that was the case, yeah, and it was running this bad, again, we don't know if it was the publisher that pushed this or was the CD Projekt Red or both. We don't. I don't think we're ever really going to know the real truth whether, because we know how
CD Projekt Red. To be honest with you,
yeah, I would.
Because there's only so much time you can wait, right, to get money out of this generation. Because remember, the next generation is now out.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people also give the benefit of the doubt to a lot of these companies or games that are coming out. It's like a lot of people do realize that they had to transition and things had to move around here, that, and the other thing. And so, there are some games that come out a bit buggy, and people are like, okay, we get it. It's COVID. This thing came out and it was busted.
No, it's a convenient excuse.
Exactly.
To be honest with you, it's like the reason. The snowstorm. Let's get this. I had a couple of workers that were late because of the snowstorm, and as a employer, you're gonna say, "I understand," but this wasn't new because at the same time, I have an employee that doesn't have a car, that's always there at least an hour ahead of time. It's always prepared, never takes off, and actually moves in a different manner. So it's what you prioritize. Now, if you use something as an excuse, you can use it as a crutch all the way through. It's no problem. Yep. And then if you enable this crutch to keep going, this will happen. Companies know that they're able to do these things in this manner and use this crutch as, let's say, COVID. Not saying that COVID isn't prevalent. Yep. But at the same time, you see somebody like Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelia Spencer take the most prominent game of this generation and could be the next generation and tell you that, well, because of Craig Face and because of their dancing in the mirror to their own beat, we're going to delay this until we know that it's right, because we can't have mess ups of this of disproportions. And to be honest with you, It was nothing on the level of CD Projekt Red. Nothing on the level. Could you imagine if Microsoft would have sold anything of close to that magnitude? No, the company would have been buried. But
Not
because
just that,
they
though,
have
like the energy would have been completely different compared to this. Like that's the funny thing. Like people are
they have
selective
this
with the
fake
energy.
goodwill. They have this fake goodwill because people choose to put their goodwill in different places because they want to. I'm glad that it bit people in the butt, but now we have to rally behind our wounded friends and we have to fight for them.
Yeah. I mean, it's a strong point, King. Definitely cannot argue that. Viper XT drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, "Have a great Xmas, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and here's to a better 2021." Thank you, Viper XT, for the generosity and, of course, the kind words. Black Eye Dog, another generous friend of the show.
That's
and
a nice name.
$5 super chat says, "Do you think that what happened will affect future DLC for Cyberpunk?" Oh, yes, it's going to be held up and delayed until they get this right. But here are the winners, folks. Now, this was drawn live on the air. I used the picker that I use for all of my shows, and I'm just going to go from the smallest gift card to the biggest winners. First of all, Matt Burns, good friend of the community, great friend of this particular program. He wins the Robot White Xbox Series X controller. Matt, I'm going to reach out to you on DM and get your address and get that mailed out this weekend. Chris Hughes Sr. wins a $25 gift card of your choice. Robert Jones wins a $25 gift card of your choice. Eli, I hope I don't mess up Shalom Vic. Shalom Vic wins a $25 gift card of your choice, and I know that you're outside the country. I will send that through PayPal. I'll get you your money for that. Lady Foxfire wins a $25 super chat. Congratulations. Internal Umbra wins a $50 gift card of your choice. We have Sikio Yumi wins a $50 gift card of your choice. Now, here are the two big bombs, and they have been supporters for a very long time. Chaos Theory wins a $100 gift card to your platform of choice. And the last, and certainly no way least, Scrub Nurse wins a $100 digital gift card to, of course, PSN, Xbox Live, or Nintendo eShop. Congratulations to all the winners. Thank you so much for supporting Double Barrel Gaming. We'll be reaching out to everyone after the show, and we will get you all of the gift cards as soon as possible. Hopefully, I can get everyone their cards today so you can buy whatever you want. But let's get into the fun part of the show. And this is where we're going to kind of talk about what our Christmas memories were. And I'm going to start off with mine. My dad was a kid that grew up in the projects, and he was a self-made man. He made his own business as a construction worker. He was a taper / sheet rocker. He walked stilts, and he ran his own business called Tritone Drywall. And there was this one particular year that you only see in the movies. In 1986, my father, his small business, the small business that could, got hired by Whitney Houston to do her new house in Jersey. This was during her concert days before the whole Bobby Brown situation, where she was, listen, regardless of your thoughts of Whitney Houston, she was an amazing artist. So my father got a chance. Now, he didn't meet her. He did get backstage passes that he went with my mom to one of her shows, which is pretty cool. But he made so much money in the 4 months working for her. She was very, very generous and paid them handsomely. And my father, in turn, paid his workers handsomely based on the monies that she gave. And this is what he did for us, and what him and my mom did for me and my brother was something that you only see in the movies. Now, in Co-op City, where we grew up, their living rooms are pretty big. They're at least 23 feet deep, and they're about 16 feet in width. So it's a pretty big living room. And that particular year, we woke up and I don't even know where they put all the presents because we were kind of snoopy when we were kids. And we always look, poke the holes in in the packages trying to find out what we got. And the presents lined up from the back of the room to literally the front of the living room, folks. Again, something that was only, my father was a blue collar dude, man. We didn't have a lot of money. We really didn't. We were under middle class for sure. And he did this one particular year because he got paid so well working for Whitney Houston that it was one of those Christmases that I don't think I've ever forget. And the one big bomb toy that I got that it still is lasting all these years later, we're talking from 86 to now, was the G.I. Joe Cobra Terradome. Remember, that thing was a big base for Cobra. One of my favorite toys of G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe is my favorite toy of all time. That particular year was just incredible. I remember getting so many vehicles. I sat there for days building with my pop. It just was, wow, really something special. But let's get to the panel. King, I want to go to you first. What is your favorite Christmas time memory for you?
Well, we don't celebrate Christmas anymore, but we celebrate the winter solstice. But at the last Christmas that we did have was when we purchased the house, and because my vision was the fireplace, the Christmas tree, and white picket fence, all that great stuff. Because you grow up with watching Leave It to Beaver as a kid, and and all these shows. So your ideal vision of certain things is, apple pie, being made, and presents are given out, and in the living room everybody gathered around in their pajamas and stuff, and that was the one of our happiest moments as far as like that Christmas Day feel, because it was new house. The kids come down in their pajamas and they have a ton of toys under the Christmas tree, and it's of course what's that tree, a live tree, a real tree, and the fireplace is going, and we have eggnog, and it just felt like something that was on my bucket list. Nice. As a child growing up in the projects, that didn't have a fireplace, and always had that weird question on how the hell Santa Claus gets to your house if you don't have a fireplace. And my kids got a chance to experience my dream as a child. So, to deliver that to them on, and on the fireplace, we had the stockings hung, type of thing. The whole trimmings, the windows were done. So it's that family feel. Everybody's together, and being thankful. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, sitting at the table, holding hands. Giving thanks for everything that's happening. That's my feeling of Christmas. My children, and I'm pretty sure they got everything that they were looking for, whatever that was on the list. They knew that Santa Claus did not exist. So I'm sorry if you're watching and you just found out Revelation.
Well, we don't even have a chimney. How do you get in here?
What?
Excuse me?
How do you get in here when there's no chimney?
But yeah, because I was looking at pictures the other day, and I'm like, yeah, they had smiles on their head from ear to ear, and that's something that'll stick with them. So maybe they'll get on a Mr. Boomstick show later in their life, and they ask them that question, and hopefully, that day will pop up, and they can say, it was this, that, I had this, type of thing. So yeah, that's my last memory of Christmas, and one of my fondest memories of Christmas.
That's nice, dude. Thank you for sharing. That's awesome, dude. You know what? At the end of the day, we are all Santa Claus in our own ways, and I think that the most one of my favorite memories is seeing the joy of others. I think that that's what I enjoy the most. I mean, it's great to get things. I mean, folks, we're always excited to open up a present that's something that we really wanted. And you know what? Real quick, I just want to tell another story. This is important to me because it involves Mrs. Boomstick. When she was a kid, now she lived in the South Bronx, Miss Boomstick, and she was not even middle class, and she had a dollhouse, the Fisher Price dollhouse. I'm not sure if you know even what I'm talking about. It was with the little peoples. They were made of wood. That's how old this thing was. And it was her favorite. She wanted someone wound up giving it to her. I think that they second-handed it to the family, and it was her favorite dollhouse of all time. And Hallmark released the miniature version that you can hang on the tree. I want to say maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. I remember being in Kohl's. She broke down, started crying. Like it was unbelievable. And what I did is I went on a hunt for this dollhouse, and I wind up getting in touch with this incredible toy collector. She was nothing short of amazing, and she sold antique toys. And I found mint in box a 1968 Fisher Price dollhouse. And I couldn't believe it. Like, folks, and it wasn't even as expensive as you excuse me, as you think. It probably cost me a couple of $100, but it was worth it. And I'll never forget. I mean, it's one of those one-time deals that you remember that will stick with you excuse me, for the rest of my life. And I had put it in a big box, and I had positioned it in a way that the minute she opened it, she was going to get that feeling. And folks, again, I don't mind getting personal, but I can tell you that tears were shed on both sides of the room because it's on display, like in our glass cabinet. She has it on display. No one is allowed to. I'm not even allowed to touch it. And it's just, oh man, just remembering some of your favorite toys as a kid really just brings back Christmas in a big way for me. But Noof Nukem, let's get your opinion on it. You're one of our special guests of today. For you personally, what is one of your favorite holiday memories?
First of all, that was a great story, and I love hearing these stories. They're fantastic because I think all of us have special moments that are near and dear to us that really put Christmas in focus and stuff like that. So I don't excuse me, I don't have anything that's really crazy or special. My Christmases were pretty typical in my household, and I always got more than I deserved, that sort of thing. And I was always very grateful, a little bit spoiled, I suppose, especially considering being the youngest of 3 children. The better part of my life, I guess, growing up, my sisters were gone, so I was kind of like the only child in the house. But a lot of great memories. In terms of the toy wise, I mean, the toy that stands out to me would have been a very impressive one in the 80s, and that was the Masters of the Universe He-Man Castle Grayskull playset.
So good, dude.
That thing was cool. Of course, it came, at the time, it looked like it was in a really big box, and I had so much fun with that. And that was one of my favorite toys. And in terms of video games, I mean, I was a bit older, but I don't think I had a job, and I certainly didn't have money at the time. But I asked my mom, I said to buy me a game console, and that was the PlayStation 2, basically, just after it come out. And I think the unit that I got was the PS2 that came with Gran Turismo 3 A spec. And
wow.
Yeah, I really wanted one. They were very expensive at the time. I knew it would be tight on my mom to get it, and I didn't think I was getting it. And that was the thing. She really pulled it off. I had no idea. She kept, basically saying, no, I don't think it's in the cards this year, and stuff like that. And, when I finally unwrapped it under the tree, I was pretty ecstatic. And, it was a cool system at the time. It was pretty new and all that stuff. And I guess the thing, too, that to me it's special now, even more so than at the time, was because now that I look at it, that was the final video game console my mom ever bought for me. Everything else I bought with my own money. And that's kind of special in that own regards because, it's kind of like a changing of the guard, so to speak. You realize that now you're no longer sort of under their wing and these aren't things that you just ask for. These are things that now, as adults, we buy for ourselves, and you start buying those on the newer stuff for your kids and stuff like that. So, that's interesting, right? When you look at it and how long ago that's been, but that was a cool memory to get that, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty much it, man, with that. And I got a special guy here who just wants to say something. Come on, you guys, get out there. I am really surprised that nobody in this panel right now has been out there trying to get the Turbo Man doll. Do you guys have any idea how hard I had to work to get the Turbo Man for my little boy? I mean, I couldn't find it anywhere. I had to go up against Sinbad in the movie and was trying to get that doll. So the fact that none of you guys have got the Turbo Man doll makes me really disappointed in you all. I hope that maybe at least at some point in time, and maybe it's not too late. Just because you guys might be big girly man, don't mean that you can't get an Arnold Schwarzenegger doll for Christmas. Maybe the Predator, the Terminator, and you can still play with them. You can hide behind your door. You don't have to come out there. You just go be in your closet and you play with the Terminator. I'm always playing with the Terminator. And you just having fun with it. Do it. Come on, and Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Whatever the hell applies to you. Just have fun. Stay the fuck away from COVID. Wear the masks on your head. I don't care what you got to do, but just stay the fuck away from people this year. That's okay, because most of our relatives are crazy anyway. We don't want to see them unless they're bringing over the fucking turkey and the whiskey. But let's leave it to them. Anyway, guys, you rock. This is the best podcast going. Mr. Broomstick, you're outstanding. Thanks for having me on so many times throughout the year. Just wanted to come in and say hello and get your Turbo Man.
Well, thank you, Arnold, for that. I mean, that was definitely a raw Arnold. We definitely appreciate when he comes on the show. I will send you your check for 50 cents in the mail, so don't worry about that. You know what, Joe, I want to save you for last. And I say that because you have an incredible my mom will beat up your mom story.
Yeah.
I definitely want to hear that. Let's go to Crispy Bomb. Crispy, for you, I know obviously it's important to talk about our history in holidays with gaming, but what jumps off the page for you as one of your favorite holiday memories, with whether it's gaming or toys?
Well, it is gaming, Boom. So we're on the right topic here. So me personally, I have a birthday 3 days after Christmas. Now, a lot of people would say, "Oh, that's kind of horrible." Like, basically, a lot of times Christmas would become my birthday. Now, that being said, it also would mean that I would get extra special presents, because they would just say, "Hey, this is for Christmas and birthday." And I'll tell you what, I had I must have been 8 or 7. I got the hand-me-down original Nintendo from one of my cousins way back, right? Okay. So I had been playing that for a long time. Then, watching TV as it goes about, I start seeing Sega, and I start seeing all the Sega commercials that are coming out, all the sports games, everything. Keep in mind, huge into sports then, but also was huge into gaming. It just the Nintendo had kind of died to the wayside. I wasn't really interested anymore. I had friends that had a Super Nintendo or even a Sega, but as I kept seeing these commercials and kept seeing all this fandom that they were giving us, I was like, dude, I want to get into this. And I would hit up I'd be like, that's all I want. That's all I want. You know what I mean? You can just get me that and I'm happy. Well, my father usually would get a huge bonus. He didn't get it. He was like, no, it's not in the cards, whatever. But my uncle, who was pretty well off, he was, I guess they started planning this out. So we go to my grandmother. So I wake up, I open the presents at home. Nothing really great. I can't even remember any of it until we get to the next part. So we go to my grandparents, and they put a brick inside of a huge box and put the Sega inside of it. So I go to lift this thing up, and I'm like, what the heck is this? So, and my uncle stops me and looks at me and goes, "This is for your birthday and Christmas." I'm like, okay. So I open it up. Sure enough, Sega Genesis with the Sonic pack-in game, right? Nice. So we get back home, and I'm like, well, Sonic's not really what I wanted, to be honest. I wasn't a huge, that wasn't the game that was gripping me. It was more like Streets of Rage, stuff like that.
Good game.
So, so I'm sitting there and I'm plugging in and whatever, and my dad grabs me and he's like, I think Santa, you think you missed a couple presents way in the back by the window, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I go up there, and it's 3 games. I only remember 2 of them, but one was NFL '94, and the other was the kind of the remake of Pitfall for Sega. And both those games, I mean, to this day, I probably played those for thousands of hours. It felt like, because I didn't get I didn't get a bunch of games all at once. Like if I got a game, it was because I would earn the money, like mowing the lawn, stuff like that. So I would have to go buy it myself. But that was like a year where I'm like, because like I was just, it was enamoring the fact that like they kind of thought this all through, and they're like, oh, he's gonna come home and he's gonna be like, oh, he's got this only one game, and then we're gonna throw him a bone real quick and say it's from Santa. At that point I already knew Santa didn't exist, but I ran with it. I let them have their fun. But it's one of those memories. And I will say this, I mean, there's so many times where I've given gifts that have made me feel better, and I guess it's as you get older, it makes you feel even bigger inside when you give a gift and you get that huge smile on the face and stuff like that. And I think that nowadays that means a lot more to me, but I definitely will never forget that. That was like one of those times that you go and say, well, your birthday's 3 days after. Yeah, but I got the Sega, baby.
Yeah, that's right. You know what? Let's get to BitCloud. First of all, that's a pretty dope story. You know what? I didn't even know Pitfall came out for the Genesis as a remake. Yeah. When I played, oh my God, Pitfall 1 and 2 on the 5200, the Atari 5200. My God, the hours that I put into those games with those damn crocodiles. I always fell into those crocodiles. It's crazy. Thank you for sharing that, dude. That's a pretty awesome story, and it's those kinds of stories that really just warms the heart. Let's get to BitCloud. BitCloud, what jumps off the page for you personally as your favorite holiday memory?
Oh man, so I remember I opened up on the Iron Lords about my aunt and how she bought me my first Xbox. Now I'm gonna give y'all the the Christmas part of this. So my mom and my aunt always kind of like work together. Like my aunt worked behind the scenes, so to speak.
I love
my
it.
mom worked at the post office. She's been there for over 20 years, and this goes back to us living in Philly. And we weren't in no like expensive part of Philly or nothing like that. We were in the rougher parts. But one thing about my mom, she was good at making the holidays feel that much more, special in ways. So this one particular Christmas, I had everybody over. I had my cousin over, my cousin Elijah. That's like my little brother right there. We're super close, still are to this day. But, he would always come over during the holidays and, occasionally at times, during the years. But this one particular Christmas, my mom knew I had like a big list, and I was like, I did so good in school this year. I had like, probably the best report card I had in a long time. I'm talking all B's, damn near 1A. I blew her away with the report card. So, I wasn't expecting no crazy stuff. I really wasn't. Because, and especially going back, when our parents were, younger, the hiding spots for these Christmas presents were second to none. You didn't know what you were going to get when you woke up. To tell you the truth, I woke up that morning, I walked downstairs, there was just so much, there were so many presents on the floor. I didn't know which was which. My cousins was on the left side of me. My mom's like, oh, yours is in the center right there. I was okay. I opened up 15 games that day for PlayStation 2.
Wow.
6 games for the Xbox. One particular game for the Xbox just came out not too long ago, and that was Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. Tell me why I had the t-shirt for it as well to go with the game. Mortal Kombat. But here's the part that really blew me away. It wasn't the fact that she got me these many games. In the back, behind these games, there was a small package, and it simply said, I love you to my one and only son. You are my inspiration. You're everything, right? I opened this box.
Wow.
This box had a PSP in it.
Holy cow, dude.
I was blown away that I had a PSP on Christmas. And the funny thing is, I didn't even ask for a PSP. My cousin asked for one. He had one. That was like the first thing. He ran around the house like, yes, PSP. He ran and hugged his mom. I opened up this PSP, and there's like 2 more games on the side next to that PSP. There is Dragon Ball Z Budokai. I think it was Tenkaichi for PSP or It was one of those. It was like Budokai. No, yeah, it was Budokai. It was called Budokai for PSP. And then there was another one. It was Liberty City Stories.
I love that game.
And man, I was blown away. Now to make this go around in a circle, so to speak, right? I always held that memory because it was like, damn, I have like one of the best mothers out there, you know, and I got this mentality to just work hard for what you have. That's why, you know, that's carried with me through life, even going into YouTube where, you know, people wonder how the hell do you grind and do XYZ and platinums. It's because, you know, when you want something, you go get it. You do it. Strong. Now, to make this story go circle, right? Full circle. I went and spoiled my mother about 4 Christmases ago because she really had like this crazy list. She wanted a lot of stuff. And to basically give back to my mom to that degree that she did back to me when I was younger really like shaped me even further. My mom loves to cook. She is an avid cook. She loves to cook. And one thing she really wanted was this KitchenAid mixer.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah,
those are nice, dude. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. But me, I worked a lot of overtime. She didn't know what I was working for. She thought I was saving up for PC parts or something. I'm like, oh, no. I went and bought that mixer and all the attachments and they were all wrapped up for underneath that tree. And I simply wrote a letter. I said, to the greatest mom that a kid can ever ask for.
Oh, dude.
She opened up those presents. She cried for like 5 seconds. And I was like, yeah. So
that's what it's all about, man. Wow, that's a powerful story. Thank you for sharing that, dude. That is talking about full circle. From getting from a kid to giving back to your mom. That's really what it's all about. And that's why I say that we all have a little bit of Santa Claus inside of us. Because for me, again, I'll say it, seeing my mom smile, seeing my wife smile, seeing my nephews and my godchildren smile when that they want something. You went out and you found it, regardless of how hard it was, to see that the expression and experience the joy. I know that's how my parents felt with us. Because again, I grew up, we were not rich, man. We were not even middle class. Mm-hmm. And my parents... listen, folks, my mom had me when she was 15 and my brother when she was 17. They were young. They were young parents. And if it wouldn't be the fact that my pop passed away from lymphoma, they'd still be together. They were incredible parents. And regardless, it's funny. One of the things that my mom was notorious for was every like October, November, she would come to us and say, listen, guys, tough year for us. We don't have a lot of money, so Christmas isn't going to be as good as it was last year. She kind of gave us the talk, and we were like, listen, you give us a little Ben DeHaan, a little G.I. Joe or something, or my brother like cars. We were good. And every time she said that, it always seemed that they outdid themselves. They figured out. My father was a master of figuring out how to make sure that we had the things he didn't, and Christmas was always well represented. Even though we were poor, he always figured out a way. It's why I'm as giving as I am today, because was molded by what my parents, specifically my father, taught me on how to give back to the people, to make sure that you do the right thing by others. These have been great stories. I got to say, I'm proud and honored to have heard some of these very, very touching tales. I hope that the chat is enjoying them. Joe.
I want a video. I got a video for her birthday. I bought her,
really?
Yeah, I bought her an Instapot. She was like blown away because she wanted it. And I was like, okay, yeah, what do you want for your birthday? She didn't know I bought it.
That is pretty dope, dude. That's pretty dope.
See, here's the thing that I'm kind of jealous is like my dad was always like that too. Like he would make Christmas like happen. Like one year we got an N64 that we didn't deserve, and he was pissed that we got. Like he was legitimately upset. My mom was the MVP. She's like, just get it for him, just get it for him. And then like we're in the Toys R Us, and they somehow were able to sneak the N64 on in the car without us noticing, and then at the same exact time got us Shadows of the Empire, and Mario 64, and one other game. I think Melee was it, dude, for me as a kid. And like I remember one of the car rides, it was like right after Christmas. My dad was pissed because we had like an old Panasonic TV, or no, Mitsubishi TV. It was wooden, and we had to get like a coax cable. And he was pissed that we had to get the coax cable. He's like, I spent so much money, we're still gonna get some shit. So like my dad, yeah, he used that. He didn't get it. So like we would get him. My dad's very stoic. So like we've gotten him like an iPad. He'd be like, oh, this is nice, and put it down. We've gotten him like the Apple Watch. He's like, oh yeah, this is thank you. Like that's it. Like, we don't get much from my dad, but my mom, we get a lot. So like my mom has been instrumental in my gaming sphere. Again, like she's the reason why I got that N64. I remember getting the Game Boy Advance for Christmas, getting all the Pokemon Advance Wars on that. And the original Xbox. I remember them getting so fed up they just of us arguing over who they got us at me and Xbox as well. So they've always been there, man. When it comes to and I say this on a lot of shows, so it's a broken record, but it's still like it is the best memory because it is a promise. It's not the tangible thing, but I remember when the 360 came out, my mother sat me down and gave me the talk going, hey Joe, I know you wanted this, because this is when GameStop they put us on a list, you know what I mean? And we were on like page 2, but somehow it's taken 8 months to get it. But I remember she sat me down, she's like, listen, I don't think this Xbox thing's happening. She's like, no bullshit. This is not a joke. I'm not here to joke around with you. It is probably not happening. It's too hard to find. I'm like, all right. She's like, but here's the thing. I'm promising you that I'm going to make it up to you. I was like, okay, sure. I mean, you're getting me in, like, whatever. So like Christmas happened, and it was like, I thought she was bullshitting me. But she's like, Joe, I'm promising you, I'm going to make this. This is like the first time she hasn't been able to make it happen. So this is like a week after, the holiday break. It's like January 6th or 8th, and I'm in gym class. And all of a sudden I hear like an announcement. It's like, Joseph, please get your things. You're going home, I'm like, what? Like, there's no doctor's appointment I need to go to. What's going on? I immediately think my grandma just croaked. Every time I get a phone call from my grandma, I'm like, this is the one. This is the one. And now she's gonna outlive us all.
So, Joe.
Yeah, and so like I go into the office. I was like, Mom, what's wrong with Grandma? Is my first immediate question. So I sold the lie really well to my mom. My mom's like, what? No, Grandma's fine. Joe, let's get out of here. And I'm like, okay, well, what's wrong? And like we enter the hall, we enter the stairs, like down the stairs. I'm like, Mom, what's going on? You're not telling me. She's like acting real shady. I'm like, what's happened to Grandma? She's like, Grandma's fine. You know that Xbox you want? I'm like, yeah, but what about Grandma? She's like, I got you the Xbox. And I'm like, wait, what? She's like, yeah, I got you the Xbox, and this is your gift. So my mom got me the Xbox. It was the arcade version, but she also got, because that was the only one they had, but she also got the hard drive with it. So she went the extra.
Nice.
She actually and then she bought me Call of Duty 2, which is still one of the best Call of Duties ever made.
Yes.
I believe she got me Oblivion. I remember playing it, so it has to be there. Perfect Dark Zero.
Nice.
And what else? Oh, there was something else there. Whatever. She got me like 4 games along with the Xbox. And I remember just sitting there like, holy shit, my mom. And like, just out of amazement, she's like, hey Joe, I'm getting Subway, you want anything? I'm like, well, you're getting me food too? She's like, I remember just spending that whole day, that whole Friday, just sitting down, eating a meatball sub, playing the Russian level of Call of Duty 2 where I'm in the pipes and whatnot. And so I repaid her in kind, because she's big into the Jesus Cristo. So I'm working at GameStop, and I really want to get my mom something like nice. Like, this is my first real person job, and I want to, get my mom something
real person.
I want to get my mom something really nice. And there was a jewelry store across the way, and there's like this little cross with it was like gold and oh my gosh, there's like this teal rock. I forget what it's called. Oh gosh, Native Americans use it. I forget what it's called. It's in the Midwest. Nonetheless, it's like this really beautiful cross with like this teal marble on it. And I remember getting that for her, and her just like lighting up because she knows, she knows how much it means to her. But like this was this is my first big time thing, and that is still the cross that she wears all the time.
Wow,
like that is hers. Like she's wearing it probably right now. And she doesn't let go of her neck, and she'll always tell me every once in a while, like let's just say like she's getting ready for an event, and she's dressed up to what she considers the nines, and I'm like, Mom, you look like garbage, and she's like, look, and I'm like, yes, that's the cross. She's like, you got this for me. I'm like, I know, I remember that. For Christmas. I'm like, yes,
Mom,
I think the best thing you said is you looked up and she said, you're getting food too? Like, oh my God, this is the
getting the whole package.
Yeah. But that's really because like that one is like, what other parent would do that? A bad one, but my mom.
Sorry to interrupt the great stories here, guys. I got to run. Boom! It looks like I just got called into work.
Oh yeah, go take care of business, brother. Thank you so much for being here, Noof. Definitely appreciate it.
Christmas, happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, Feliz Navidad, Malagayang Pasko, whatever applies to people. Just have a fantastic season. Be safe, most importantly. We hope that you have fun, that you get lots of cool gaming stuff for Christmas. If you happen to get a Xbox One X or Series or the Xbox Series X, or the PlayStation 5, then awesome, guys, because I know they're super hard to come by. So that'll be a pretty special Christmas if somebody lands one of those bad boys under the tree. But anyway, I got to run. You guys have been fantastic. This has been a fun show. I wish you guys all the best. Much love and happiness. We'll catch up with most of you guys probably in the new year, I would imagine. Up until then, I wish you all the best, guys. I do have to run. But thanks for the time. Boom. Always a pleasure to be here, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Noob. Take care, brother. Be safe.
Here's a memory I'll share with you guys too. This is my mom's 58th birthday, so she's 58 years old as of today. But let me see. Can you guys
happy birthday to your mom?
Oh no, no, I'm saying she's 58, but
with the video.
Yeah. Yes, it.
Oh, yeah, here it is. Hold on, let's bring it up on the screen. This is it right here.
Let me know if y'all ready. I'll play.
Yeah, good.
For those of you wondering what that was, those little they're called syndicate, like little box.
Yes.
It opens up and stuff flies. I don't know if y'all can hear it. Can y'all hear this?
No.
You can't hear it?
No.
Nah. Well, she was having I bought her this.
Move it out of the way. Now open it because it's supposed to plop open.
It's supposed to
open.
Yeah. Yes. It's funny. I got one of those for my birthday this year.
I got it more than just that though. It was funny because it didn't work as advertised. The little butterflies were supposed to fly.
The butterflies, everything's supposed to fly around the room. Yeah, that's your aunt that's throwing it back in there.
That's actually my.
What is this?
What you got? A mess? I gotta clean it up.
It keeps falling to the floor.
She's like, what's going on here? So I shot her with that, but then I got her the gift. Hold on, let me skip. This is where I got her. I bought this package. I don't know if you remember this, David. It was in my room when I was doing RGT. This was her package for the longest. She didn't know.
He said, use the knife on that. On that. Use the knife.
He was acting all nervous. I'm like, you know how to use a box
because you just gave her something that was making stuff fly around. That's a bigger box. It's gonna fly out of this box.
Hopefully, nothing jumps out.
And her face lit up when she saw the fire.
She got a knife, so she's good. If something jumps out, it's gonna get this work.
And then I paid for it.
You couldn't help but get the stuff out the box. What type of son are you?
It was late. It was super late.
He said, "No, I gotta hold the camera. I'm cameraman right now. I'm not a kid." Give her back the knife. What the hell is going on here?
Well, thanks for sharing that, dude. Definitely appreciate it very much, man. That's I mean, again, I appreciate everyone sharing their memories. This is again, it's a big deal for me personally doing this show. I will share one other small little memory. Obviously, I told you in the beginning, one of my favorite toys, still to this day. And when they come out, I buy them. Like they have a retro collection in Walmart. Whenever they get a new figure, I buy it because I love G.I. Joe for more so for what they stood for, kind of what I stand for in my personal life. I know it's silly, but that's where I've always equated myself to be as a like a real life G.I. Joe. And one year, and I don't remember what year it was, one of my favorite vehicles of all time is the G.I. Joe Whale. It's the hovercraft. It came with the pilot cutter. I remember I begged my parents for this, like, oh my God, when again, this is showing my age, the Sears books used to have the big toy section, and you show, this is the toy that I want. You circle it, you cut it out, you take it from grandma's yelling at you not to cut her book, and you cut out the page and you put it in an envelope and you say, this is what I want to the parents. And again, we weren't rich, and the vehicle was expensive, so I didn't think I was going to get it. And my father took me down to help him up with groceries, and in the trunk, he opens the trunk to get the groceries, and it's there. And he closed it real quick, and I kind of just turned like this. So he asked me, "Did you see that?" I said, Dad, what are you talking about? See what? The packages? They had just come back from Pathmark. And I'm like, nah, what are you talking about? Let's get the groceries. He was like, okay, good. You didn't see it. In my mind, I was dancing around, running across the street. I was like, the hovercraft. I got the hovercraft. So when Christmas morning comes, I think my father knew because he was slick. He's like, yeah, this little motherfucker. He knew. He saw it. Right? He saw it. I know you did. You can't lie to a liar, right? So you get up for Christmas morning with my brother, and I'm looking for the big box. I'm looking, and there's no big box, and I'm like, so I'm looking at the packages, and I'm like, there's the Cobra vehicle, and there's like the All Strike vehicle, and you're like, so he's watching. He's sitting there. He crosses his leg and he's smiling. And he's like, so did you get everything that you want? I'm like, yeah, Dad, I kind of did. Thanks so much. He goes, well, we do have one more. And I just want you to know you can't pull the wool over my eyes because I was born before you. I know you saw. And he brings out the hovercraft, and it just was, wow, man. It was the icing on the cake, but he hit it. He waited until the end of ripping open everything. It's it's funny. It's almost like a Christmas story. Like the Red Ryder BB gun was all the way in the back, and he's like, yeah, I got Tinker Toys. This is okay. And here he was, and he drops this megaton of the hovercraft, and he helped build it, and he always put the stickers on perfect. It was, listen, folks, I can go on all day about this. I have some incredible Christmas memories, but I do want to say thank you to everyone who tuned in to listen to this. Again, this is a video game show, I know, but this particular program that I do every year is important to me because A, I get a chance to give back to the community, so that's super important, and B, I get a chance to hang out with people that I consider extended pieces of my family. Everyone here I consider to be a family member. It's just, it's like King, for instance, King and I have had the chance to meet in real life, which has been amazing. And it was something I will live with forever. And of course, hopefully I get a chance to meet everyone in person at some point or another. And of course, I just want to thank the community for coming out and listening to this. Hearing everyone's stories is, a lot of us sometimes it's difficult to pull the curtain back and let people in. And I think that we all did that today in such a big, powerful way. And I hope that everyone did enjoy it. I want to make sure that I didn't miss any super chats before we get to the outros. Let me just reload the page because I really It really bothers me when I miss the super chats for sure. So let me just do that, and I will get everyone out of here. I want to thank the unbelievable amount of generosity that came in, specifically on a regular basis, but today, more importantly, you really just completely blew me away as always. Let's see. We have okay. Let me just see. Okay, so DJ Birdo DOS drops $7 in super chat. A first 5 and a second 2. He says, "Turbo Man, jingle all the way, boom!" And thanks for stopping by, Arnie. Noof killed it again. Happy holidays, good peeps. Well, thank you so much, DJ. Viper XT says, "Merry Christmas. Here's the surprise 3-month Game Pass Ultimate code drop for the chat." And question mark equals Z. So if you probably someone already claimed it because people are quick on the internet. I'm not as quick as I used to be. Blue Moon FC drops a very generous $5 super chat. Says, "Cheers, boom, for a quality podcast this year and friends." Thank you so much. Pixel Bit G, a generous friend of the show, he drops an outstanding $2 super chat. And he says this, "For the good human stories, respect." Well, thank you. Sikio Yumi, I'm gonna hit you up on the you gotta let me know where I can reach out to you. You won a 25, I think it was a $25, it might have been more. Hold on, let me see. Sikio Yumi, no, you won a $50 gift card to your choice, and we will get you that code ASAP. They drop a $2.22 super chat. Says, "Thank you, Boom and panel, for making my days better." Well, thank you for being here. And the let's see this. Felch, the itch you can't reach drops a very generous $5. Says, "Salute to King David." Well, thank you so much for that. So listen, let's get out of here. And we'll start with King David. King David, you obviously have the Iron Lords podcast coming up this week on Sunday. I'm sure that CD Projekt Red's shenanigans will be leading one of the topics. Do me a favor, brother. Tell everyone about King of Statues. Tell everyone about where they can check out your incredible website, which is really one of the best places to get news. And I think that it has really made some big strides, especially in 2020. And also tell everyone about where they can follow you on social media.
Well, thank you, Boom, for having me on this annual illustrious show. I love this show. It's a time to give back. It's a time for reflection, and it's time for looking forward to the future. So I love to do this with this fantastic panel. Big Cloud, Mr. Badbit, Crispy, Duke Noof, and Mr. Boomstick and Mrs. Boomstick. Y'all always support me, and you guys are fantastic. You can catch me at King David OTW on Twitter. Yeah, I'm thinking about
that PSN.
Yeah, right. Oh no, that is Xbox 360 level 01, and they won't allow me to get my game tag. It's just kind of driving me nuts right now. But you can catch me tonight on Dolph Castle X at DCX on YouTube, and that's the statue show, where we're going to talk about everything, especially The Mandalorian today. The last episode is today. So, man, oh, man, if you didn't see it, you're in for a treat, baby.
Yeah, I can't wait tonight. Me and Boom, Miss Boomstick can definitely check that out.
Yeah, definitely some great stuff to watch. KOS is going up tomorrow, so you can find out more about the Maestro and what you think you know you don't know, but I'm going to teach you, and I'm going to make sure that you understand exactly who he is and what he is about. If you think he's the Hawk with a gray beard, you might be right. And also, I have the child coming today from The Mandalorian, Grogu.
Nice.
Yeah, he'll be here, so I'm going to do a special unboxing with my Sideshow collectibles. So he's not a toy. He costs upwards of $400. And
yeah, he's expensive. I saw that piece. That's a nice piece, dude. That's by Gentle Giant, right?
No, the Gentle Giant one is different. This one is from Hot Toys.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you want the Hot Toy? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I've been waiting for this little dude for a minute, and I got my Maji cases, so I'm going to put them together, and it's going to be fantastic. So also, I just want you guys to be safe this holiday. I want you to, be cognizant of we're still in a pandemic. Just because it's a holiday doesn't mean, you know, you pop up on this at somebody's house unexpected. You know, go through the same protocols because you don't want to be going around spreading Christmas cheer and spreading COVID as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, please use proper precautions and also keep in mind that we're in a pandemic and try to keep your spirits up, because I know during this holiday, especially this year, might be a little bit harder than most. But remember what it really means. It's not about giving presents. We didn't give no presents here, you know, except for Mr. Boomstick giving back to the community. But what we did was we reflected on the past, we reflected on the present, and we were reflecting on the future. And we did this as a team together, and it was in the spirit of giving. So understand, you don't have to monetarily give stuff with money. You can give stuff with your heart. All right. So guys, please don't fall in despair. And if you do feel like that, follow me on Twitter and hit me up. We can talk and I can make you laugh all day long.
Yes. Well, yeah. Thanks so much for that. That's great words, man. Words to live by. And certainly, listen, there's going to be another Christmas. There's going to be another Kwanzaa, another Hanukkah. There's going to be holidays next year. We just have to get through the very rough time in the world, not just the country. It's the world that is suffering right now. And the best thing that we can do for one another is hunker down, do the right thing, wear a mask, keep your gatherings small, wear gloves, wash your hands, and like King said, do the protocols so you and your family will just be enjoying the holiday, even if it's virtually. We will get back to some normalcy next year once we can get the vaccines out to everyone. And those are certainly words to live by. So, King, thank you so much for that. Let's go to Joe. Joe, do me a favor, brother. Tell everyone about the best PlayStation show on YouTube, known as the Trophy Room. And also, where could people reach out to you on social media?
Yeah, so right now we are doing the Trophy Room Awards, where we are going to celebrate the latest and greatest in all things PlayStation and gaming, and celebrate the developers that got us through 2020. Link to all that. It's on PS Trophy Room on Twitter. It should be the first thing that we've tweeted out today. The link's been a little weird. So if you're having trouble, please let me know at Mr. Badbit. And the Trophy Room is a PlayStation podcast where me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest and greatest in all things PlayStation each and every Thursday. You can find the video version on YouTube. You can find the podcasts on Spotify, Google Play, Apple Pod, wherever you find your podcast services. You can find the show there. And that's it. That's all I got.
Well, thank you so much for being here, and obviously, what do you call it? King had to bounce out, so thank you, King, for being here. Thank you, Joe. Crispy Bomb, you have been very busy. You're on multiple shows. Do me a favor, brother. Tell everyone about the programs they could listen to you on, and also where could people reach out to you on social media?
Well, it's always a pleasure with everybody on this panel. The chat was lit, and I want to just say happy holidays. Everybody be safe. Be well, be happy. I mean, it's hard to do right now, but you know, sometimes that even if it's somewhat fake smile could light up somebody else's day, and that means something. And it's at Crispy Bomb on Twitter, Crispy Bomb 28 Xbox Live. Hit me up. It's basically just going to be me gaming. I am a part of the next podcast. I believe we're going next year. Also, Retro Renegades will start next year, and boom. Unfortunately, I think you fall on all the holidays now.
Yeah,
so I think we're done until next year.
Yes,
but I love this community, and I hope to see everybody next year. Hopefully, it's better.
I believe it's going to be better. And yes, there are going to be several shows for Double Barrel Gaming. Well, obviously, we're not going to have them on Christmas Eve or Christmas or even New Year's Day, but we're definitely going to have a couple of shows next week. The schedule is Monday for primetime gaming in the evening, and we're doing a special edition on Wednesday of the Xbox Factor podcast. Then we're going to go on hiatus to the following week, and we're probably going to follow the same schedule There'll be only 2 shows per week instead of 3 or 4. Of course, unless something major happens, then we will try and work it in. But we're going to try and get some holiday cheer and just hanging out with the families in. And last and no way least, our very good friend BitCloud Gaming, one of the first people to join Breakfast with Boom. First of all, thanks so much for being here. Thank you for sharing so many incredible stories. Where could people check you out this afternoon on your march to 10K subs on YouTube? And also, where could people reach out to you on social media?
Well, Boom, like I said, when you first offered the opportunity to, do the show with you, it's a pleasure. So thank you.
Thank you.
For that. That was awesome, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You guys find me at BitCloud Gaming, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. And today's probably going to be the last RGT podcast until 2021. Not sure if I'm going to do one. I'm definitely not doing one on Christmas. That's for sure. I'm probably, I don't know. I'll try to squeeze something. I don't know, but I don't think so. But I've been so busy working with, fixing everything and working with a bunch of ideas and just, being creative. So that's why my channel haven't produced much content, but, I've gotten a lot of good response. So I'm good with that. But as far as 2021 is concerned, hopefully it's better. I really got to meet up with everybody on here. We got to definitely meet up at E3 or something, if possible, if it happens. I really want that to happen in general. But overall, I wish you guys be safe. Wish you all a very happy holiday. And hopefully 2021 is prosperous and for everyone, for one. And also it's even more safe for everyone. All of you enjoy these holidays, and much love to you all.
Well, thank you so much for being here, brother. Super appreciate the kind words. And of course, yes, I think things are going to be much different next year for a lot of better reasons. 2 super chats came in. CMBR drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, great prizes, great stories. Thanks for the show, Boom and panel. Well, thank you, dude. We also have Dan Ryan 999 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, I appreciate all of you. I became a subscriber a couple of months ago and haven't missed a live stream yet. Happy holidays to you and your family and all of the panel. Well, dude, Ryan, thank you so much for the generosity and, of course, the kind words. And everyone, listen, I'm going to close out the show with something that's important to me. Hopefully, one day it'll be important to you, and that's something that my dear old dad talked about and taught to us very early and often. And he used to say, son, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, and I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, and we will see you next year on the newest episode of Breakfast with Boom. Have a great holiday, everyone, and be safe.